Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. T-Squared and Ryu hanging out at the Xfinity desk. We want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Mountain Dew, for making this season so awesome. Thank you so much for your continued support. Be like blue and do the do. That's what I always say. And also I want to mention that ESL 1 is right around the corner, actually. It's taking place October 1st and 2nd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. That's 8 teams competing for $250,000 in prize money. But the action doesn't stop there. The Street Fighter V Brooklyn Beatdown is also taking place. That's an open tournament with $75,000 in prize money. For more information on that, ESL-1.com is your destination. But we're talking about Liquid. We're talking about NRG Esports, and this is going to be a big one.
It's a big one. It's super important. It's super important for both teams. I think if you're Liquid after not making E-League, this is the type of thing that maybe you come out angry and you play maybe with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more aggressive, and put up 2 big wins tonight and kind of make a statement, like a statement game. I think it's really important that they get the ball rolling quickly and they carry momentum and win both maps. And I think if you're on the NRG side, you want to continue playing as well as you have been. They play a very good quality of Counter-Strike under the leadership of Gabi. Peter on a map like Dust2 is scary. When he goes off on that map, it's like 30 or 40 kills, and we've seen the damage that he can do, and those are some dirty peaks, Pete.
All right, well, let's take a look at the roster, starting with Team Liquid. No surprise here. Everyone, pretty familiar with the roster at this point. Hiko, Pimp, Nitro, JDM, and Elise. And interestingly enough, Elise going to be doing a little bit more shot calling from the intel that we're hearing.
Yeah, that's super interesting. He's he's probably, I guess, the youngest guy on the team. Very, very smart. You can tell he's a very intellectual person despite his age and experience level. Interesting to see if there's anything we will notice in game. They are going to be at the ESL 1 event that we just talked about, and that's the first event where we're seeing the coaching rule change. So Peacemaker may be taking a little bit of a step back, get a little bit prepped for an upcoming event. And we'll see what that impact to the team ends up being.
And you were talking about it earlier. We want to see Hiko really step it up here. But let's take a look at the NRG Esports roster. This is the competition that they're going to be facing. And walk us through this, Ryu.
Yep. So Gabi is a well-respected in-game leader. He's done very well with this team. I mentioned they play like a good style of Counter-Strike. It's more consistent than some of the other styles we see that contrast with it in North America. It's structured. It's about defaults and map control and measured aggression and responding to different teams. Peter, we talked about, has been playing super well. Legia is kind of a supporting role. He's not the heaviest fragger in terms of raw firepower, but he does his job and he does it well. Tabson, one of the best players statistically in the division this season. And then Fugly, very similar to Legia. He's actually been playing very well also. This weekend in a different qualifier, he was like towards the top of the scoreboard. Not super common from him. He's usually a little bit more in like the average range, but he's been playing well. And honestly, overall, I've been impressed with NRG. I know a lot of people doubted them at the start of the season. I had them picked to win 2-0 over Echo Fox when they played that, and I was mocked relentlessly. It was tough. I was bullied. But they ended up winning, and I ended up being right, so I got to laugh back. And I just feel like this point in the season, 9-5 records, really, really good. It looks great. But if they can go 11-5 with 2 wins over Liquid,
Huge.
they might even secure a chance or secure a spot in that top 6.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit because you have C9 Immortals, right? They're looking really strong. You almost want to say that they're locked so far. And keep in mind, guys, that the format got changed. It got moved from 4 teams to 6 teams,
right,
making it into that playoff final. But then you have SK Liquid, NRG Esports, Optic, Echo Fox, and then Renegades. All have a realistic shot of making it in.
They all do. They've all been playing pretty well, and that's 8 teams in 6 spots. So I mentioned that 4th through 6th. It doesn't matter which one you get if your goal is to make the event, but you are going to be going up against the 6 from the European division. It's going to be 2 groups of 6 where they're kind of mixed. They play best of 1s against every team, so the seeding isn't as important. But it's still, if you can get that 4th spot, the regular season prize money, I think, and the way the prize pot gets split up, there is value in getting higher up. But 8 teams in 6 spots, they're all playing well. I think Renegades is one of the hotter teams that you mentioned on that list, and they're outside of that spot right now. You got to win every map.
That's why this series is so big. I mean, potentially
Absolutely.
Because if Liquid or NRG doesn't, walk away, if one of these teams get 2-0'd here, they're going to be on the outside looking in, because then also we have a big series going on between Echo Fox and C9. You got to assume that C9 is going to walk away with that one. Maybe if Echo Fox is even able to split games, they're going to be feeling really good. But if you had to predict, what are the 2 teams that you think are going to be on the outside looking in when it's all said and done?
Man, I'm tempted to say Liquid, but maybe that'll change at the end of the night. And then I would say Optic.
Yeah,
And it's funny because I feel like Optic's been playing well. Like this weekend, they had a great
they
showing
did.
with a couple really intense series against the Immortals. I don't know. I feel like Renegades has been playing super hot. I feel like they're making the right changes. You're seeing the progress that the team's made. Optic just changed rosters. It's still a little bit hard to tell. It wouldn't surprise me if any of those teams get in or get bounced out. I actually think most people would say NRG is the least likely to stay in the top 6. But if they're playing the way that they've been playing and they come away with a 2-0 tonight, it's very likely they'll be in the top 6 at the end of the season.
So what do you think they're going to have to do to walk away with this 2-0? You're talking about, Peter, obviously, really solid player. Tapson can go off on Dust2 at any given point in time. Do you think they are going to walk away with this 2-0? And if they do, what's going to happen besides those two playing how we know they could play?
I think if NRG wants to 2-0, Peter needs to get off to a hot start, so does Tapson, and they need to carry that momentum and confidence into the second map. I actually think they're going to split. I think that we'll see this end in a 1-1, which is kind of like bleh for both teams when they have an opportunity to step up, to climb the rankings right now. If you're Liquid, I think you've got to put all of the things that have been happening recently behind you, like not making E-League, just not playing to their potential, and play. I don't want to say disrespectful, but I think if they come out punching real hard,
yeah, with a chip on their shoulder,
and they play that style and they make this a statement game, I think that they have the skill on that team that they can trounce a team like NRG just in pure firepower. It's just that's not the way that they've played historically. Maybe Elish calling, maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder individually, and we see that impact the style of play that they come out with tonight.
Well, that's what you're talking about. They didn't make it into the E-League, and that's huge. So this is pretty much their opportunity to go out and show to their fans and go out and perform. And these matches now in the ESL Pro League are mattering that much more for Liquid because this is really going to be the only games that we're going to be able to base them off of.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, right? Like, this needs to be 100% pure focused intensity and like laser beams. They need to come out. They need to play to their potential. And I think at times we've just seen them underperform to a point where everyone's kind of scratching their heads like, did we read this team wrong? And I don't think we have. When you have a team with Elish on it, and you have Hiko and you have Nitro, and they're playing pretty well, they have firepower at the opping position. They bring in Pimp. Obviously, he's not going to fill the shoes of Simple, but a good player overall. And then you see them lose to some of the teams that they've lost to, coming out with 0 wins to start the first 4 or 6 matches of the season. It's not what you're expecting when you look at the roster on paper. And then on the NRG side, I feel like people look at the roster on paper and say like, no, they don't have it. But then you watch them play, and just their style alone wins them a lot of these matches, especially against like that tier 2 and tier 3 team. It's a really intriguing matchup.
Well, we're hearing Days talk about how Liquid needs to really utilize Pimp because they haven't necessarily utilized him fully to his full potential quite yet this season. And then also they're a little bit weak on that A side. Strategically, what else is Liquid going to have to do to really step up? We're talking about Hiko definitely has to go big individually. But what else? What else strategically are these guys going to have to look out for in Dust2, specifically going up against NRG?
So Pete moves around a lot in this map, so it's always important to know where the op is. He does a really good job. He'll take risks at middle, so punishing those risks will certainly lighten the load and make it easier for them to win rounds. They're a team that historically has loved mid to B. Mid to B splits on their T side, so knowing that's coming and being prepared for it, it'll be really important that their player in the B site, which I think might be Tapson, which is good news if you're an NRG fan, needs to come away with kills. They do a good job of fighting things together, and like I said, style-wise, they play good Counter-Strike. So they play like a team. They leverage support. They peek off flashbangs. Like, their fundamentals are there. If you're on the Liquid side, I've been curious if we see them double up on a map like Dust2. Pimp has been their secondary op this season. He's been okay with it, but they haven't really set him up like they would the primary op. So maybe that'll be a little bit what Dave's reference and how they set Pimp up for success.
I think that would be a good start. Another good start would be for Hiko to get into the lobby so we could start this. So feel free. The reason that we're chatting so much, guys.
At @liquid_Hiko.
Yeah, as much as we want to hang out here and talk about
messages of encouragement.
Yeah, messages of encouragement. Please, Mr. Hiko, join the lobby. Use hashtag ESL Pro League. We'll get it up on the stream for you guys. But yeah, how about those Giants?
Man, that was such a great win this Sunday. Yeah, they played great against the Saints. I'm sure everybody watching is riveted at this conversation. Defense looked good. Those are the games we lost last season. Good to see us with a 2-0 start.
So let's talk a little bit, since we're going all over the place. Let's talk about Selfless, because you guys are actually right behind all those top teams that we're talking about. You guys missed out on a really good opportunity in the beginning of the season to beat Echo Fox, which could have been a really good momentum boost for you guys. Where are you guys sitting at? Where's your guys' mindset personally?
And we're one of the many teams in North America, and I would put Liquid in there, maybe even NRG, that we play to the level of our competition. So if we're playing a good team, when we played Immortals this past weekend, we had a 16-14 map against them. But then on the other side, if we're playing a team that's towards the bottom of the division, like United, we're playing down to their level. And it's like I mentioned earlier in the day, consistency in Counter-Strike is probably like the holy grail. It's the hardest thing as a player. It's very difficult as a team. It's easier as a team than as a player. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle finding that baseline and consistently playing there. We had a pretty intense talk last week to put a little bit more structure around things, to get the schedule going, to make sure we're working through the map pool. And we have a very, very small outside chance. I think just in the way the math shakes out, I think we're 5-9 right now. So we'd have to run off like a ton of maps against a lot of really good teams to get a chance at that. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Not impossible.
It's mathematically.
It's very much a DeBears thing,
not over
right?
yet.
Like anything is possible, and you never know in CS:GO.
You never know.
He loves it. Just don't let him lick your hand. You weren't here for that story.
No, I wasn't. I missed out on some good stuff, but I'm happy to be back.
I
for
was
some
disappointed
awesome
in the admins for the CS:GO subreddit, because this story was so good, and there was a thread on there, and it was like climbing, like the hot list, and then it just got deleted. Like the more DeBears we get on that subreddit, the better everybody's lives are. And the fact that a mod would go and delete that thread and not explain to me personally via like a handwritten note why, I was just upset. The story was so good.
Freedom of speech.
DeBears literally got in Dazed's head. Dazed wasn't at this LAN. This was 12 years ago, and Dazed was like you're what? What? You licked his hand? Like, I'm screwed. I can't function right now. Like, literally, like if Daze had played rank S after hearing that story, 0 wins on the night. No doubt in my mind. That's how
I'm so sad I missed
the
this.
mind games of a legend like DeBears, who's so positive, they're just next level.
Yeah, I've seen the Bears is up to some next level stuff at all times.
I don't even know. He's on his phone right now, and you never really know.
It's because he's so talented, right?
Yeah, and actually, I was blessed to see him on the weekend. Had a good weekend at the esports arena in the general area out here. I live in the southeast, and I don't have a lot of like a gaming community around me.
How was that experience? You casted for a little bit.
Yeah,
the Blue Rat you cast, right?
I used the microphone to communicate on a Twitch stream. It wasn't like the most serious cast. It was fun, but it was cool to see a local LAN event like that, just encouraging people to play. It was packed. There's probably not that many people that are into esports in the entire state of South Carolina. So to see that in SoCal for an event was awesome.
South Carolina or South California?
South Carolina, where I live. There's no gamers.
Okay.
In SoCal, the LAN event was packed. In South Carolina, there's no gamers other than me, I feel like.
All right, guys, the players are finally getting ready in the lobby, so I'm going to throw it on over to the casters. Blue and Daze, take it away, fellas.
Still going to be waiting a few more moments here while we actually wait for Hiko to join our GoTV, which is on a bit of a delay, of course. But Dazed is with me, so welcome, guys, to this first match of the day. Dazed, what are your initial thoughts as we wait to get into this one?
Well, we're waiting patiently for Heeks. I did want to talk about Ryu. I think he said Stewie's the best player in NA right now. Bit disrespectful to our boy. Not A2Z this time, Ocean. Yeah, my boy Ocean. Kakona in the chat.
Bringing up all that young talent all the time.
Yeah.
Clearly the best mastermind.
We wouldn't have Stewie if Ocean wasn't there first to pick him up and give him that chance. So.
All right, so it is going to be on Dust2, and obviously, again, the first thing that we can talk about there, and I think they brought this up on the desk a little bit, is the op battle that's going to be happening here. Peter taking on JDM. What are your thoughts on how that's going to end up playing out here throughout this first map?
I think JDM's a bit more stationary than Peter. Peter, you never know what he's going to do. He does some ballsy things, man. You really never know. And then we have the main thing I'm going to look at is there's so many different ways to play Dust2, right? And especially with Pete, he moves around a lot. We saw Cloud9 versus Envy. Cloud9 rushed like 11 out of 15 rounds, right? So you could rush, you could fake long, go out mid B. You could go very, very slow. You could throw fakes. You could do anything on T side. But the longer you take, the more opportunity someone like Peter is going to have to you know, find openings and get picks. And I think we're actually going live here.
Yeah, so we are going to be jumping into the pistol round. And to start things off, NRG are going to be jumping onto the T side with Team Liquid going onto the defensive side of things. And they actually are going to fast cat too. This is not going to align with the play from NRG. However, they're moving into the tunnels. But the good news is they can have the counter flank in the tunnels lined up very quickly if they follow through, which they are. Nitro, though, holding behind the back box here, finds not 1 but 2 kills against Peter and Gabi. And now the rest are struggling to get out. And this is where that fast cat rolls in. NRG don't even get outside of that tunnel. They just get completely destroyed. And Team Liquid gets an easy pistol round.
Yeah, beautiful round there by Nitro. You see that a lot on Dust2. If you have that front spawn, especially getting in that back B box, it's really tough to stop. One thing that Envy actually did was MBK came with a deagle on pistol round, just one-shot the guy back there. They stormed into B, and I think they ended up winning the round. But really tough to stop when you just have a Quox.
And so with that now, obviously NRG are going to be starting off from behind on things, and they do go for the pretty typical second round buy-up here. Obviously Peter's going to be saving a bit more to wait for the op to be purchased, but beyond this, it is that usual investment, and we see things being taken slow. We're pressuring a little bit inside of those long doors there initially, but decided against it, and for good reason too. He goes waiting just around the corner there, as well as having a Pimp waiting a little bit further out there too. Back around the corner, waiting towards long, but they do decide after a few minutes of delay to just push their way over here up towards Cat to prepare again. Really just investigating at this point, but full 4 and soon a 5th player too is going to be stacked up here. They've got a little bit of utility that they've brought to the table for this round, so may be able to utilize this to get into the bomb site, but always looking to be very, very cautious on that second round, and well, who's going to be waiting for them as they go out. On the cross there, it's going to be JDM with the scout in hand. A bit dangerous considering that he is the only one here. And we're going to find out in just a moment here how exactly it works out. But for now, you see, first of all, that smoke to give them a little bit more room to actually push out to begin with. And now, the execute will come in. A lot of nades that Molotov actually gets wasted as it's shot up top. Now, JDM, first shot, second shot, whittling them down one by one here as more try to roll their way out. Finally, they do manage to break through him a little bit, but not without more of them getting knocked out. Fugly, his 3rd target, a look for the 4th one in a second, as he knows he's got a guy sitting back there behind the boxes. And, well, now the reinforcements have arrived. Legia does pick up 1 kill, but immediately after that, Elige trading him out, and Tabson down at 17 HP, just going to run out of ammo, and he'll get taken down by JDM to give over the second round to Team Liquid.
Just wow. JDM played that absolutely perfectly. NRG didn't have the follow-up flashes in order to really cross and get the bomb down, you know, without taking casualties. If they had one more follow-up flash, they might have been able to win that round. That's pretty much a staple play, though, on T side. Fugly did a really good job of actually getting the info to see that there was at least 2 players at long, allowed them to get up Cat together there. But they just really didn't have the follow-up nades in order to, you know, make something out of that round. But they did get the bomb down, which is good, and they might try to do the same thing here.
It does look like, initially speaking here, they are going to split themselves up once again. This is usually a strat which ends up regrouping the players over towards mid. And for Team Liquid here, doing, as you mentioned before, quite similar of an opener tier 2. Not as proactive on long, already just kind of leaving JDM back here to watch the car spot initially instead of pushing out there to watch that long pressure. Although at the long doors themselves, we do see a little bit of combat. Nothing that leads to anything, but at least they find each other here. It's actually going to be Elige that spots the first couple bits of players, but he'll end up getting dinked there within the chaos of those 3 guys that are corralling around the Xbox position. It brings Elige down very low to 28 HP, but again, leading in over here towards the hit on towards A on Cat again. They've got a little bit more utility this time. They have those flashes that they can use to try and get outside here, and it's going to need to be appropriately timed. And at the moment here, seems like it might be the case as Pimp is just rotated out towards mid. He's going to be given time to hold up a position there and possibly fall back in just a moment. But for JDM himself, wrapped around that car position, he actually does get flashed back.
And look at that adjustment, right? That's just an NRG adjustment. They say, you're not going to play Cat. You're not really spotting mid too much. I'm going to walk up Cat all day and at least get the bomb down.
Yep.
At the very least.
With that, the control is gained, and obviously they're too punishing JDM before to push him back with the flashbang. It does move them out. No casualties at all on this plan. Only a little bit of damage being traded out as Tabson went down to 40. But obviously with the earlier damage onto Elige too, it's bought time for these guys to move in on the retake, but they are leaving this down to a very low amount of time. Thankfully, initial flashes are good. 1-for-1 trade as they start to push their way back in here. Fugly looking for the deagle shots up on top. He's found 1 or at least gotten some good damage, but the CTs ultimately move in. There is going to be 2 shots from Fugly to take them down. It goes to a 1v1, but Fugly, I don't even think he has time. He just got to stick on to this, and as he works his way out, it's Fugly with the deagle that gets 3 kills at the end of the round and closes things down for NRG to steal their 3rd.
Yeah, just insane deagle shots there by Fugly, but you know, when NRG sees that you're playing that way on CT side, it's a really good call. I actually think on that 3rd round, it's a lot better to get more aggressive so that that can't happen. But Liquid was fine with just letting them take control. And Pimp actually had a good read there. He wanted to play Goose, but since Elise peeked middle and had 20 health and lost that aim duel essentially, after they rush long here and JDM gets an early pick, and has to fall back towards the A site and they give up long. But NRG is in like no position to really do anything here. But what I was saying is that Pimp had to go to CT spawn because he was so worried about the mid B. Pimp thought that they were going to hit A. He was a Goose, and then he had to reposition himself.
And so for now, NRG, after moving out towards the long area there, they do get control outside of the doors and whatnot. This Team Liquid are restrained mainly to the bomb site, but NRG is actually going to shift quite a few of their players back over here towards T-spawn and then Suicide. They'll keep the bomb and the crossroads there between mid and the long doors, but no follow-up onto anywhere else on the map just yet, and most of Team Liquid still sitting here expecting another A hit as well. They've got Elise heading a little bit further back there inside of CT spawn, waiting for mid play in case they do shift it into that. They've even got cat pressure this time too. Pimp is going to be placed further there, I believe just below the staircase, waiting for more pressure to come from NRG in this direction.
Yeah, but see, NRG, the problem was they had a 5-man long take, right? So now all of a sudden they have to do things so slowly. They're all 4 together. They could be lower B, and it makes the round so much more difficult.
Regardless, though, they are going to be moving in finally to take control. The Molotov goes into that little cubby there. End up pushing Pimp back as he bailed out of there a few seconds beforehand, but they can certainly hear them moving around up here as they do get prepared to push into the site, leaving them only 30 seconds to get onto it, but it's the same smoke they've been using for the past 2 rounds. They push in, Tabson finds that first kill, and Fugly marks the second one. It's Pimp from down below that strikes first, but he only gets 1 pickup here, brings it into a 3 versus 2, but Team Liquid aren't wasting any time, moving back in from Cat to take control again. Most of the efforts are focused on Long and CT. They're just now starting to pay attention towards Cat, and that's a mistake, as we do see Nitro grabbing that first kill. Leggy on a repeat, though, grabs one of the remaining 2, leaving it all into the hands of Nitro, but the missed stop shot keeps him alive for a little bit longer. Problem for Nitro, though, now he's out of utility, and he's also lost half his health here, so as he creeps back in, he's going to try to slowly bait out 1 or 2 of these players, but he's out of time now, and he hasn't even seen this second guy on the site just yet. He's surrounded, and eventually Leggy peeks out from Goose again to end the round for NRG, now tying us up at 2 rounds to all.
That was such an odd round. NRG moved as 5, got picked off, and then moved as 4 all towards Catwalk. Just stuck together the entire round. Positionally, completely open to flanks and things like that, but Liquid gave them so much respect that they weren't able to get any necessarily positional advantage. That even though it was 5v4, Liquid didn't have a positional advantage at all.
So getting into the next round here, the first eco round for Team Liquid, and they're not going to buy anything whatsoever. Just saving up completely for the next one here, and not really trying to risk the site stack either, just still going to be playing fairly default positions, a little bit more pushed up, so they can try and get the better angles to find the kills in themselves, but at the moment not really working out, as both JDM and Nitro have taken heavy hits here. Nitro even going to take a risk on moving into those tunnels once again, as he boosts himself on top of the box right outside, still waiting for a hit to come from this direction. Nothing yet, though. Obviously, NRG are going to take their time to avoid some more of those risky plays that we often see the CTs do on these types of rounds.
Yeah, they could really do anything here. I think they probably know they're 2 cross. They opt to a mid-B, which is a little bit dangerous nowadays just because of the self-boost on the box, as God B was going to molly it, but ends up getting triple peeked and dying.
You see JDM picking up the 1 kill there, but beyond that, NRG do handle the situation pretty well. Tabson, actually on the cusp of an ace here too, as he's been cleaning up most of this himself, so Nitro is going to try to push out the mid and see if he can grab any of the stragglers here, but it's been spotted by Peter. He knows he's here, and it's actually going to be Peter that finds the final kill there. Takes him down. NRG take the lead.
And I do agree. I think Ryu said it on the analyst desk a little bit earlier. He talked about Liquid's firepower and how they probably have more talented, skilled players as a whole than NRG. But Tabson's one of the NRG players that can hang with anybody.
He's been showing that, of course. I believe, at least as of our last broadcast, or the last time we showed NRG, he was the top-ranking player just for stats in general so far in the Pro League.
Yeah, now they have a 5 rifle setup, and Dust2 is such a map where you can just completely base an entire CT side off and off. I'm really curious to see what they do here, if they want to just run a default, which looks like they're doing. I don't necessarily agree with this. I think if you don't have that op and you just give them whatever they want across the map, I think it's going to be really tough to hold as a CT, but we'll see, especially with very low utility. They only have 4 flashbangs, a smoke, and an aid.
We can see on the opener here, too, that NRG are once again just going to be grouping up towards mid eventually, going to their own sort of T default. Tabson already starting to investigate beyond the mid doors, however. Won't find anything. It's the, generally speaking, fairly slow follow-up to what we usually see as they investigate into the tunnels along with the long door area there, waiting for any extra aggression, but not finding it. And now, again, they start to play around with Cat, although this time, as we do get into the gun rounds, this could very easily turn itself into a mid to B hit as well, should things go pretty badly.
They could
on
do
the push.
anything here.
Yeah.
This is like, when you're a caller on Dust2 and you get cat control this easily with almost full utility left, you could do whatever you want. Anything. So it looks like they are going to group up A, though, because they don't have anybody in B tunnel, so it's probably not going to be a spawn drop to B or anything like that. Looks like it's going to be another 5-man cat team.
And they're going to be going right for it, too. Molotov's rolling into the site, trying to get Pimp out of his position, too. It has worked. They've actually burned him out. And one of them, JDM, is going to be caught in the Molotov there. You saw it for a second. I think he got blinded by a flashbang. Now it mainly falls to Elige, but the same problem. Just like Pimp, he only gets 1 kill. Tabson just tapping away at Hiko there in Pit. Fairly clean, actually, from what we've seen in the past in these types of matchups. Finds the kill. And now it's left to Nitro, which in a 1v3, I mean, he's got
almost an impossible clutch.
Yeah.
If you don't have a molly for that A site as well, it's so difficult to retake A. But right there, I loved what Gob B and his team did. So they threw the cat smoke on bricks, and then they got inside the cat smoke. And I was actually just talking to Moses about this. If you throw that cat smoke at bricks, you can creep up so far, and then when you execute, you're on the site like 2 to 3 seconds like quicker than that normal take, where you just execute from bricks. So that was really well played by them. JDM only had a rifle there, so it was kind of 4.5. 4.5 of people versus 5, but yeah, now they're on another eco. So.
And where they're also going to try to play it aggressively out towards mid this time, specifically Elige, as you saw, tried to go for the push, didn't pay off though, and Gob is going to destroy Nitro midair. He's even found the last player, one of the last players towards this site here. They're trying to fast rotate, but for the most part, this has already been shut down. Hiko and Pimp get themselves into a battle at mid. Actually, do see. Fortunately, Gob is found in the open, but works as kind of a bait for Tabson to be able to peek out there and finish them off.
Yeah, I don't like seeing that from Liquid, though, when they had that 5 rifle set up. Like I said, man, NRG's too good, and Gob is too good of a caller, and they're too well executed to just give them the entire map with 5 rifles, half armor, and no utility. Like, you need to take a risk there, or you're just saying, like, I have no respect for your executes, NRG, and you need to respect their executes.
Peter is going to grab the early shot through the door, hitting Nitro there too, knocking off half of his health. And also too on this map, we tend to see, there we go, fast cat maneuver from JDM as he pushes out. It does manage to get to the trade of the earlier damage on one of their teammates. That's going to dispatch a Fugly, knocking him from the equation, and very promptly too, he's just going to fall right back.
Yeah, and I like this setup a lot from Liquid. They, mollied long, faked like they had long control, went towards cat, kind of lulls the defense to sleep a little bit, or the offense. Gob going up cat right through the smoke, gets 2 entries, and just like that, the A site's completely open.
Now as well, the only one here to really in the area to try and defend it is going to be that player down below in CT, which is Hiko, but obviously can't actively defend them from getting control of it. Not only this too, but look, they've left no one on the B site, so Leggy's going to walk right in. The only area the CTs have control of is the mid walk up now, leading in towards Cat, so I think they're really just going to move up here to try to find Leggy. At least they get that a little bit of a prize to escape with here. They still haven't, ironically enough, or interestingly enough, I should say, NRG still haven't gone for the bomb plant, but after they lose their teammate, they do decide to fall back and obviously take things a little bit safer, since this is now a plausible situation for Liquid. Although at the end of the day, I'm not even sure if they're going to go for it with Elige being this injured, and as well as their economy still being in the position it's at. So watching that round, a lot of people thought, that's so weird, why didn't they just take A? But it was actually a really intelligent call. The reason they didn't take A is because they were already smoked out on the bricks, and a player could have got to A ramp or A site by that time, and if you just run up there, just thinking the site's clear, and you don't throw pop or flashbangs, and you don't go together, Gob was really injured there, it's really easy for that round to turn sour real quick and there be a 3K or a 4K by one of the CT players. So they wait for Legia to flank B to get the information, get that kill in the back. He called 2 players there, and then they decide what to do. So Legia was probably screaming on his mic, almost like, don't go, don't go, don't go. I got the perfect flank. Let me tell you what to do. Let me control the round. And so that was really well played by NRG. And now their money economical game is just on point. Just all of them are rich. That is going to put most of them at a point where they can probably actually buy for 2 complete rounds here too, some well beyond that. We see JDM taking up the position, trying to contest a little bit more at mid, which is sort of out of his element, but it actually works out great. He finds a shot on the Peter, not a full kill, but what is this from Legia? Just walks her down the long. He's got a great pop flash to support him, but he gets flashed regardless of it though. Still grabs his 2 kills. That's Hiko and Pimp getting knocked out. And again, full A site control. I'm not even sure if we're going to see a retake attempt here. This may just be too far gone already.
Should definitely be a save. Risky cross there by Legia. And so far, we saw NRG. Think about the rounds they've won. They won the 3rd round because of Fugly's Deagle and their A site take, which was a perfect read that Cat was going to be open, right? Then they won 2 4v5s where they were the 4-man, right? So 3 rounds, essentially, that they shouldn't have won, and now they followed up with a quick long take. Legia goes out, kills 2 instantly. So NRG is playing like, hey, man, even if we're a man down, we're still going to, we're still going to win.
Of course, JDM, thankfully for his team, is going to be able to at least hunt down 1 or 2 frags here. Legia trying to move out there towards mid to go hunting, but up from the position here towards window, he does catch that 1 player. It shuts him down. More going to be moving into the set. Actually, we'll try to crunch them. Like you said previously, they're rich. They can really afford to take these deaths, and actually, they end up taking down all of them with only 2 of their own losses, so those rebuys are not going to be a problem at all.
100% the right decision to make there. 100%. And now Liquid is at a tough choice, because do they full buy here? I would strongly advise against this buy. The reason is, if you just live with 1 person alive or 2 people alive, and then you lose the following round, all of a sudden you're probably going to lose the half, 12-3.
It's going to pretty drastic there in terms of retake capabilities or comeback capabilities. But again, as we see them pushing out here, there was a decision to full buy from Team Liquid. One for 2 trade out on the B bomb site, but again, they're really far detached from where the combat's actually happening, so most of them are just stuck over here towards the long. If they would attempt the retake, it's going to be a rotation from around the back, but now the Peter shut down 1 more player. He does get traded out, so that's actually an op going into the hands of Team Liquid, and I think with that, and judging from their current positions, more than likely, again, they're going to make the save call.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if NRG thought it was a save there. Got B just rushed B with a back 10. So, generally speaking, you do that on anti-eco rounds.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised if they thought it was going to be a save. So now Liquid probably going to pistol half, I would think. Yeah, just pistol half armor, light investment, give themselves a chance to win the round, and then full buy the next.
Only exception to that is going to be Pimp picking up the scout, but he's got a little bit more money compared to the rest of his teammates, so he could afford to pick that up and still, generally speaking, be around the same monetary value as the rest of them. And again, Peter, 2nd or 3rd time he's done this now, hits the shot through the door, brings JDM down to 18 HP. They want to play around with mid, and actually, Peter peeked away, and I don't think he saw this from Elige. Thankfully, they're still expecting it. Got B sitting here, watching over there by the barrels position for these guys to push up. Now they get the control. It doesn't mean anything, though, considering the firepower, and unless they can take down like 2 or 3 of the players here, probably is not going to be that effective. NRG, though, good read, takes their time with it, and they still haven't even started pushing into a site. They got plenty of time, and also they need to worry about really fending off that pressure in mid, so they take a moment to focus on that, and thankfully it pushes it back.
Yeah, as soon as they called that mid push, NRG's like, hey, we're going to go long, we're going to take the long range battles here, and just probably cross long with smokes. We know you have a scout. Actually, they only take 1 person long since he thought they retook it, and now it looks like it might go back to Cat. We'll see. But again, Liquid is just in complete, a 2-2 split with 2 on the A site, 2 on the B site. 2 A guys have terrible positioning. I don't know how you win this round unless you have somebody with a 5-7 just ace them. Like, unless Hiko aces here, it's going to be, you're not really setting yourself up to win the round. Well, having like such a low buy, such a low investment, and just saying, hey, we're just going to still play pretty standard.
And NRG, again, will proceed after sort of toying with the decision a little bit. They do decide to just push out the tunnels here. Waiting around the corner is going to be Hiko. He just gets knocked out by Got B and immediately taps, and watching the flank there finds another one. They even try to pre-fire Pimp position, although they have Got B lit up pretty nicely, so they do get to finish him off. Takes him down. He's going to hunt for more here. He's spotted 1, but re-peeks towards the window spot, and that is where Legia is going to find him, finish him off. Gives them yet another round here, and for Nitro, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot he can do, especially since he's retrieved the AK, and he'll definitely look to save that now.
I mean, NRG is playing really good Counter-Strike right now, but at the same time, I'm just a little disappointed in Liquid because they did have 2 rounds in a row where they had the man advantage in 4v5s and still couldn't even really make the rounds very close. I mean, the one round Nitro was in a 1v2, the next round he was in a 1v3. Their positioning has been very, very suspect.
So, of course, things will continue to play themselves out very well here for NRG as they get to push themselves forward. Money, again, I believe should go into a point where more than likely, and yeah, definitely, we're going to see the buy for Team Liquid going into this next round. Nitro saving that AK, obviously, will buy them a little bit of extra cash to work with here, give him utility and whatnot, but this seems to be the appropriate timing for it, and more than likely, this is the tactical pause coming out from Team Liquid to figure out just what the heck is going wrong, and Hiko specifically there, down at 0-9, probably just needing a moment to chill out.
I don't know how many times I've seen that. That's very, very rare. And we'll see how the half plays out. It's still a very salvageable half. I mean, if Liquid could pick up the next 4, which is easily doable, starting 6-9, and then if Liquid wins the pistol and takes out the next 3 rounds, 9-9, you're probably favoring Liquid. So even though the score is 2-9 and NRG basically has max money on everybody, it's not like you can't count Liquid out right now.
Yep.
They could still definitely win.
It's only been in these past, I would say, like 3 or 4 rounds as well, where NRG has really started dominating. Beyond that, there's actually been fairly close rounds. It's only been over the past couple where we've seen them just dominate, take the sites, and just force continuous saves from Team Liquid.
Yeah, Liquid needs to start taking a couple more, calculated risks, I would say. So far, whenever NRG seems to push one side of the map and really pressure it heavy, it doesn't seem like they have much fallback options. I think Legia was outside B tunnels once during a long push maybe, but this is stuff that you probably want to look at, team by team basis, right? So NRG probably looks at Liquid and they're like, you know what, this team gives so much respect around the map. If we take long, they generally don't push B, which allowed them to just 4-man down middle up to Cat, right? And Liquid is probably saying, well, we think NRG is, holding a good sense of map control and things like that, which they haven't been so much. One of these rounds could have easily been won by Liquid if you just had like a number call on long. They saw so many flashbangs and things like that, but they were content with the 4v5. So they didn't want to push off that. So we'll see if Liquid starts, disrespecting him a bit more and not giving him so much respect and start pushing the perimeter and things like that. Maybe JDM going for picks as we're going live again. Yeah, we'll see what they come out with out of this tactical pause.
Get ourselves into another gun round. tabseN, obviously, as we take a look at the stats here for a moment, too, showing up is absolutely for the NRG side, but also another factor, too, since this is the map where he seems to shine the brightest, is Legia. We already saw that one play out towards long, but he's also had some good frags on a lot of the other gun rounds, too, sitting just behind him, I believe, with 11 at this point.
Yeah, and they move JDM towards B, get a boost on the CT spawn box, which, of course, you could just do by yourself now, and then they're going to let mid B be essentially a little bit weak because I do think NRG would molly behind it. We saw him do it or try it the round before. But then they're saying, JDM, you can't die here. Essentially, JDM cannot die here. He cannot die. He needs to get at least 1 and stay alive for a while. NRG taking a cat control within a minute and 10 seconds of the round again. And if you're God B, this is just exactly what you want. You take cat control early, you're able to do whatever you want, fakes, full execs, whatever. So Liquid in a really good setup, though, to stop anything at A because the Leech could really quick rotate, but it could cause them trouble. If they fake A here, which it looks like they might do, and then go into a mid B or a heavy B, they're completely outpositioned. And they're making it look like it's an absolute A take, so we'll see how a Leech rotates off this.
At the moment here, too, the 3 still stacked up in the tunnels. Slowly, the bomb pushes back. As you mentioned before, they're making this look like it's definitely going to roll into A with smokes, flashbangs, all that moving themselves into A. So, as you mentioned previously, too, it falls to JDM. And I actually think he crouches a moment before, and it ends up hitting the barrel on the shot. So he misses completely, and instantly after that gets decked down by Fugly. A trade back on Cat at the very least, but already full site control is gained by NRG, and Team Liquid have to go into immediate retake mode. And they don't have a lot of utility to do it. A lot of their utility's already been used. Only Elige has anything left. He's got 2 flashbangs, a Molotov, and an HE grenade, and he's not even really in the greatest position to use it either. He's got to use a lot of this just to get back those tunnel controls. Fugly holding here. At least for Liquid, he goes down without much of a fight there. Just trading back some damage onto Elige, but they're very quickly moving back in, and in fact, it's going well for Liquid now. Pimp picking up the kill over there onto tabseN. Peter denying the player that pushes back in. He finds a second one, misses the shot, gets lit up through the box. They're down to 45 HP. Finishes him off with the pistol. He's still got Legia to support, and they brought it down to just Hiko. No kills as of yet for him, and it looks like it may stay that way as Peter shuts it down, ends Hiko's life, and gives NRG yet another round to get them up to double digits.
Yeah, just a perfect 2v4 by Legia and Pete. Legia didn't overpeak to the tunnel. He got that quick kill. He messed around with them, made him keep looking at him, didn't overpeak. Him coming through the window just gets pistoled by Pete there. So big 2v4 by them. When it comes to NRG, though, like Gabi is seriously putting on a clinic, like an absolute clinic on how to strat call. He has put himself and his team in a position to win all of these rounds.
NRG now sitting at 10 rounds straight without dropping.
Just a cat here with 3 people, push palm tree, and NRG had no idea.
He's getting a little bit of an edge there. Unfortunately, they only gained 1 kill with it, and it kind of looks like they're giving up the pursuit now. They start to fall back. Bit of a peek here from tabseN. Spots the head of Hiko, but it's way too small of a target for him to hit as he starts to fall back up the steps. They safely retreat to the bomb site. Won't actually have the man advantage, which is probably the thing they were looking for here, at the very least, to scare them away from mid a little bit. But still,
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen 3 catwalk in a 4v4 before, so I have absolutely no idea how this round's going to play out.
They are going to just position themselves on it here right now. Still leaving only Nitro here to defend the B-bomb site. JDM been lost, but Pimp has picked up the op once again for him to try and play with that a little bit. And NRG are actually going to completely avoid most of this setup by pushing out towards long. The only player that may push his way on the Cat is going to be Tabson. They still have, as you were mentioning previously, that very outstack of these 3 players sitting up on Cat. May not be expected by NRG, but also they don't have the greatest amount of cover too. If the long push and the Cat push end up coming in at the same time, they're going to be boxed out here.
Yeah, but rounds like this, you usually see the CTs actually win, because a lot of the time you just trade kills pretty evenly, and you're just not expecting like some random 3rd guy there who just 2Ks you. So we'll see what happens with Pimp. Pimp's like the player to watch here.
They didn't actually spot it, though, at the pushback over there. But Pimp is now... Oh, nice peek from him. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to run, and he's found out in the open, so Peter does catch the trade. But under pressure kill from Pimp, again, still keep things even. It's going to go down to a 2 versus 2 now. Fugly hasn't spotted Nitro moving up just yet. I'm not sure. Nitro just jumped up there a moment ago. He may have spotted the player here on site. Regardless, though, flashbang, tossback, blinds Hiko, delays him for a few moments. And a smoke is also going to buy him a little bit of cover to push out further here. Really relying on that up back over here towards long to hold it, but Fugly as well to delay this. Peter, he spotted one he can't support, though. He's been flashbanged, and now Fugly moving out with low HP, grabs the first kill. The trade from Nitro, but Peter's actually been dinked down to 11 HP. He's going to go up onto the site. Still no connection from Peter, and on another one, he's got coverage now. He's going to try to push it, but Nitro goes back out for the peak to finish him off, and that's going to allow Peter to find the kill and again pick up another round for the NRG squad.
Yeah, Pete again clutching the round. Fugly got a very fortunate kill on Cat there. I think it was Hiko, right, who was coming up catwalk. He actually ran out of ammo, and then Fugly was able to just pop up and kill him with like 3 health. So had he been alive, it might have been different. But Pete also had a great post-match position. And NRG again, I don't know how they knew to molly quad there, but they just knew. I don't know if they saw him go there or not, but that was like the round-winning molly right there.
Well, again, we will see the aggressive pressure out along from Team Liquid, specifically from Hiko, holding up close to the door here. NRG wanting to play with it a little bit, but ultimately falling back. The big story, though, is going to be the pressure working its way out into the upper tunnels here. It's been spotted by Legia, and he does great early damage to Elige. Gives it up a little bit until he can line up this pop flash. It's going to roll out around the corner, too. Perfectly connects onto the player to the left here. Unfortunately, Elige has to try and cover that teammate, and that's what's going to kill him as Legia wins the opening 1v1. And now, I think they know, too, that the B-bomb site's open. They're moving in just to secure it. Nitro tries to hold out in the T courtyard, but can't do it. Immediately goes down to Tabson, and this is, again, going to be more than likely a save round from Liquid. They're completely outmatched here in the 5-on-3.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed about NRG as well is that if they see you on catwalk, they just go out long. So if you're watching this and you want to try to counter that, you might want to take that. Because we have seen it twice now. But having said that, so I was talking about Liquid maybe pushing perimeter spots, you know, B tunnels and things like that. But when I was talking about them doing it, I was talking about them doing it in reactionary positions, right? Right there when they pushed B tunnel, it wasn't in a reactionary position. NRG wasn't taking long A fast. NRG wasn't post catwalk control when you know there's 2 or 3 people on cat. They did it essentially before NRG showed their hand, and as they just chase down Liquid and try to get as many kills as they can here to you know, crush their economy is even more. But back to my point is that when you do it before they show their hand, that's when they're most ready for it. So you want to do it after they've done something, you know, where you know there's only going to be max 1 person B tunnel. But instead, they do it beforehand, and NRG is just so ready for it.
The final round of the half is going to be coming up here. NRG hold the lead at 12-2, and money is certainly not going to be a problem here for the T side. They're not going to see any crazy last round buy either, where they like all pick up off something and try to pick mid. Just going to keep it pretty normal here. Team Liquid again playing out with long, but it's fast through the B tunnels this time from NRG to make some noise here. They heard the player going back towards Carver. Interesting reaction there from Fugly. I don't think he actually saw him at first. That gives Elige that kill. Tabson trades, and Nitro up on the site too, but Peter wrecks him through the box, I believe, to take him down. Hiko waits at top mid, grabs the additional kill there. They get this into a 3-on-2, and this is one of the first times we've actually seen that, and obviously that ults out there going to be bouncing off So they're not going to help them
Well,
to hold
these
up the
same two
remaining
players
CTs.
won the 2v4 retake, so now it's a 2v3. So what are we going to see?
Peter moving in, grabs that first kill, Nahiko. It's evened out once again. He even moves in there to support his teammate a little bit. He's going to trade out for the AK. Hasn't seen the second player as of yet, but that noise through the door there distracts Pimp, and Legia pushes through for free. Gets that kill against Pimp. JDM is going to try to jump up on top of the box here. He gets to the position, but everybody's covered. He can't see them at all, and he's just going to walk into the crosshairs of Peter. Perfectly played by NRG, and they get a 13th round.
PTR and Legia are gods. All right, they played that to perfection. So Pete gets that kill. He says, hey, we're going to be...
We'll talk more about this when we get into the second half, but we'll be right back with it in a few.
He's going to get the one kill in that bomb. It can't be done in this zone. FNX has to stay up. He gets the triple FNX. Oh my god, what a way to win that round. They don't have a smoke, so this orb is still...
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, here to the ESL Pro League, NRG Esports versus Team Liquid. Currently, easily in the favor of NRG here for our first map on Dust2, 13-2. What's your perspective there on that first half, and obviously things that we need to see change as we go into the second half?
Well, NRG played, honestly, almost perfect. I mean, they had the right read and the perfect read every single round. Every single round. I don't think they messed up once. Even in the rounds that they probably should have lost, you know, they came up with big individual plays like the 2v4 at B, right there, the 2v3 at B, you know, where Pete's in the tunnel, he hears one, he says, I'm going to flash you out, you go B, you take control, and then he runs to A, and he would have planted for Pit and probably won that round even if Pete had died there. So now NRG is in such a dominant position that coming towards the CT half, you could save as much as you want, you could take huge risks. If you want in your NRG right now, you could seriously smoke B, smoke mid B, and play like 4A every round until you win. You know, it's really tough to come back from a 13-2 if you play the style of CS like that if you're NRG and just take, you know, random risks, stacking sites and things like that.
Should be noted too, as we have it on the screen right now as well, that all 13 of these rounds were gained on a streak. Team Liquid won the pistol in the second round, but ever since the upset on the third, they didn't drop a single one for the rest of that entire half. So
13 straight.
They get a huge lead now, and obviously completely destroying the morale, more than likely, of Team Liquid, but having a few moments to recover from that as we got into halftime, and now they're going to need to come out big on this T-pistol if they want to close out.
So we're going with a 4-man long take, which is a really good start to this round, and I think they're going to set up smokes where they smoke on Catwalk and probably deep CT. I would doubt that they go back towards Catwalk here.
Pimp, though, just holds 2 frags over here in the upper tunnel, so now both sites, in theory, are opened up. They end up sending the bomb back over here towards the B site because of this play from here. Fugly holding for 1 kill, but he gets traded back down. Now, all of a sudden, this goes into a 4 versus 2. Gabi has spotted that one player over up on the platform itself near the site. And Hiko looking for the trade, but the smoke is still in his way. He decides to push through it, finds the quick kill, just taps and left alive, and again, trying to do as much damage as he can, but Hiko ends up tapping him away. And with that, Team Liquid, they pick up the pistol here. Get to keep themselves in the game for at least a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good 2K by Pimp. But did you see how they did that, though? That's kind of what I was talking about beforehand, right? When you push B tunnels, but you push it after the other team kind of shows some of their play. I mean, they had a 2-on-1 there, and had they gotten that kill, they'd be in complete control of the round because they'd have them totally pinched.
end up unfortunately dropping that one, and things do go into the favor of Team Liquid here. They're going to try to move out, but there's actually a lot of pressure here. It's a 2-for-2 trade over outside of the long doors. The bomb goes on the ground as well, and currently not in a retrievable position. They're going to buy time for Tabson to move out, but Tabson moves at the wrong timing here. Not only this, but Gabi will be found in a position where really he can't do much about this. Legia, the last man standing in the 1v3, just trying to rotate over and hopefully grab at least 1 or 2 of these guys on the cross, and there we go, actually finds one. Cautious of that flank, and for good reason too. It's just a moment after he peeked with their Pimp, went for the peek of the long doors, but as he rushes back out of the ramp to get up to the A site, Pimp is going to find him from those B doors and shut him out.
Yeah, pretty standard there by NRG. Late pop flash long. What you want to do there is when you're a CT, you try to flash when they're actually all the way out. And if you go too early and they're by blue bin in the doors, you usually lose that. We're seeing almost a full save here. They have double nades, so I'm curious what they're going to do here. Looks like they're just going to nade long. 4 nades, actually.
Yeah. It looks like one of them is just going to be placed over here on the B-bomb site. That one's already been used. It actually does some massive damage. Hiko and Elige both get hit by that. Good trade, though, as they move in there. They do a recompense for that damage as they take down both of the defenders here in the site. We're going to see fast rotations from NRG regardless, pushing out towards long there to hold positions, but they're going to leap right in. Good flashbang. Actually lets Gabi pick up a kill. Almost is able to finish off Hiko, too, but he ends the situation, and now cleaning up the rest of this as well. It's just Legia, who is lurking around through T-spawn over here out to the exit of the tunnels, but even from this spot with full HP, unless he catches JDM off guard, which he won't, he's more than likely not to be able to pick up anything there, and JDM will end it without any further confrontation. Yeah,
that could have been pretty scary though, man. Like, those quad nades did a lot of damage. If they just connected with a couple more bullets, I mean, a couple of those guys had like 20 health. But you see how far ahead NRG is, like, tactically right now, and it's just superior. Just so tactically superior right now.
So we will see Team Liquid, of course, getting themselves into their first gun round now. The investments roll into the CTs, and it does include an op on the first gun round here in Peter's hands. He even gets armor behind it too, and he also fast cats himself there over up into this position too. So if they decide to turn around all of a sudden, he can catch some of this, then really damage to be done, but also, of course, being careful of the corresponding nades that move in from the T side. He's still here, though. He hasn't backed down just as of yet, and the first challenger to his spot may end up being Hiko in just a moment. He's waiting for the peek. The flashbang rolls in, but actually, shoulder peek from Hiko does bait out the op shot and sends him back over here to the site where he's just going to fall back to the typical car position now.
Yeah, but just having his op on Catwalk there as they go through B tunnel and Legia again in the back of flat, just trying to stay alive as long as he can right now. That's the most important thing. JDM walls him, but Gabi's in perfect positioning after that to multi-frag. Unfortunately for him, he's only able to get one.
Hiko unfortunately messes up his duel there with Tabson, so he'll go down. It'll be a 3-on-2. They're in the site. They do get the plant, but now they know exactly what the situation is. And not just this, but both players have been lit. Lige, much heavier, so down to 12 HP. JDM holds the line, though, against the tunnel pressure moving in. Evens it out once again into a 2 versus 2, and Fugly is going to work his way in through the doors first. JDM, it's all going to come down to his timing here on checking behind him here as the flank does open up. Takes that shot, re-peeks again, gets the intel, moving out, grabs the additional pickup on the Fugly, and now it's all down to Tabson all of a sudden. He's the big player for this team, but he's running low on time, and actually that Molotov pretty much saves the round for Liquid. He doesn't want to risk pushing through it. He doesn't even have a kit in hand currently, so he's going to decide to fall back, retrieves this op, and he'll let Team Liquid pick up this round.
Pretty ill-advised peek by PTR there. Maybe you just did it because they're up like 13-5, but you're very, very unfavored if you're a CT and you peek up that angle against the opper that's holding there. The way you want to position yourself is you don't hold the stairs right away. You generally hold to the right of it, and you know you'll kill him almost every single time.
So with that play happening there, and obviously JDM even moving out there too to help out his teammate a little bit, down at 12 HP was not going to be the best place scenario there for him to win out a lot of those open 1v1s, so it does end up going into the favor of Team Liquid. And that op that was saved in the last round there by Tabson does still allow PTR to have that, but unfortunately not much beyond that. Just a couple players picking up pistols and whatnot, some with armor that for those that could afford it, but even beyond that too, it's just going to be the P250s and a little bit of nade power here to try and hold it back. The good news is that for the most part it is a heavier stack over here towards the A site. We'll see in a few moments here how Liquid go for the execute. There's that op actually. They boost Peter up at probably the perfect time to find Pimp when he's not really aware for it. They move out in another 1-for-1 trade. Peter finds one more kill, but he does get taken down, and Hiko is somewhere in the midst of that too, going to end up burning Tabson out, so only 2 remain standing here for the CT side, and both are off the site. Gabi tries to lurk in through the long tunnels, gets knocked out, And now it's just Legia here, although he is going to find that up on the ground, and he knows there's a player out towards long, but JDM handles that anyway as well. Shuts out Legia, and the 7th round for Team Liquid goes onto the board.
Yeah, that was a bit scary, man. I think Pimp went way too early there, especially against pistols and just one off. You're pretty protected against the off from long when you throw those cat smokes and the CT spawn smoke. So you just really want Pimp to just kind of lurk pretty hard and control that, and then maybe come up cat late if it's needed. But it probably won't be because you're most likely going to get bombed down and catch rotate kills. But Peter almost won that round. I mean, he did his best that he got to. After that fast long take, Fugly and Pete just shutting it down instantly.
Nicely done from them as they do catch Pimp in an awkward position, although Nitro ran the peek over here towards the long, picks up a kill, and no one's watching the tunnels there beyond that smoke. Elige actually had a great hole through it to be able to sneak in there. Again, there doesn't really net much beyond that. He's immediately traded back down, still in the favor of the guys from NRG, but also at the same time, this op here from JDM, he's been looking great with it over the past few rounds, and if he can catch Legia, the bomb will get itself over here onto the B bomb site, and there you go. Patiently waiting, catches Legia pushing into the tunnels there. JDM will punish, and he'll have a secure position to get this bomb onto the ground.
And if you saw the patience by him, by the way, one thing you want to know from that is that he didn't scope. If he scoped there, Elige would have known that he was there. Or sorry, not Elige, but who was it that died? I think it was Legia. Yeah. He would have known he was there, and it would completely change this round. So never scope if you don't have to as an opper. I see it countless times.
Nitro here too, just trying to duel them out in mid, waste as much time as possible. Even the nade following it up too does some great damage, really priming it for Nitro. Just pull off the final 1v2 himself here, trying to jump up on top of the box to make the job a little bit easier. And obviously, even though he may not be grabbing the kill here, he's wasting time, making this impossible for tabseN to retake in what would be that final 1v1. So they pushed him back out. They know they're not grabbing at it. All of a sudden, we're seeing some great stuff for Team Liquid as they've rounded it back, and they're just 5 rounds behind NRG at this point. Yeah,
13-8. Really good long hold by NRG. Couple mistakes there. Legia pushing that smoke was a mistake. PTR going all the way back to A ramp was very greedy. He should have just stayed car. If he stays car there, he's not being greedy. He could, you know, worst case scenario, let him have the site. It's 3v5, right? But those 2 crucial mistakes lost that round for NRG after that good long hold.
It's going to be just another eco round here from the NRG roster. Getting some good damage out early here, actually, on both Hiko and Nitro. But despite that damage from the nades there, they still try to push back out and look for the kills. Nitro and Hiko both get taken down from this one. The bomb, thankfully, is still safely positioned over here, but Pimp's almost caught too on a peek out towards long doors. Thankfully, manages to get away before any damage goes on it, but that flashbang could have proved fatal had NRG been able to respond a little bit quicker with their peaks over in mid.
I mean, every single round that Liquid's even winning is very, very close. I mean, on these ecos, look at how much damage they're doing. Liquid's money isn't even that great, and now they're in a 3v5. We'll see what they do here. It looks like they're going to go back towards B. Not sure if Elige is going to fake middle at all. He only has a nade, and God B is in perfect positioning right now to just kill him after that smoke. So we'll see who has the faster trigger finger.
They're waiting for it, but oh my goodness, Elige looks away just as the smoke fades. So God B will actually get that damage. Thankfully for Elige, she is able to go away, but another perfect flash here from the CT side holds back the T's pushing in here for a few more moments. Now God B is in position to hide behind the card angle, but that jumping around, they've been able to hear that. Pimp and JDM get 2 fast kills, bringing this back under the control of Team Liquid. Molotov pushing them back into the site a little bit longer here, buys the time for that rotation. Finally, though, they are going to jump through it, gets the bomb onto the ground with about 30 seconds left, just an opening fake one though to see if they can push anybody out from that position. But now finally they commit to it, but also at the same time tabseN and Fugly are armed with AKs here. The real thing that's going to throw NRG off is the lack of utility, but nonetheless tabseN and Peter using, I believe that's the boost they have going on there too, try and spot over onto the back platform. Liquid completely avoiding this one though, and at the same time, Pimp pushing in there finally loses one of his duels versus Fugly for control of the tunnels themselves. That opens it up for Fugly to push his way back in, and no one's watching the door push, the initial one anyway, so tabseN gets that kill and the follow-up onto Elige for free, and now NRG are on the board here in this second half.
That was just, I don't know, man. JDM was completely out in the open there with his pistol out towards door, just looking window, just very lack of awareness that he's wide open to the door. I don't know what he was thinking there. But NRG actually probably should have won that round a lot cleaner. As soon as they saw him go from lower to upper, it was almost certain that was going to be a B hit. And then the B hit took like 15 seconds to get in there. I was surprised it even came to that. The card player missing that kill and dying kind of made it easily winnable round for Liquid, but then just the lack of awareness there and Fugly's flank on tunnel, you know, won the round for him.
And so the opener once again from Team Liquid. We're not going to see them moving out as actively here towards long as they have in the past rounds for reasons that should now be obvious, since they, regardless of whether it's a gun round or an eco round, NRG are reliably being able to trade out multiple players there. That last round specifically, it was particularly brutal. So I think it was Elige and Hiko that ended up getting knocked out there early when they tried to push out due to early nade pressure, and then they still followed it up and got kind of wrecked with the pistols. Although they're going to move up here. Over on to Cat, lining up for the push itself. Tabson down below. Will be the first one to respond to any of this. He does have support from Fugly and also Gabi if he wants to fall back, but more than likely he's going to be sticking around here waiting for later long pressure.
Yeah, and another, you know, 4-man Cat control with like a minute and 10 to play with. So we'll see what Liquid does here. Looks like they are doing some type of a mid-B fake maybe to an A hit, is what I would guess with that smoke by Pimp.
Still waiting for the actual execution to move in. There's the initial smokes to cover off parts of the site to give them a little bit more room to push up here. They've held back NRG, not even going to actively contest this. They're just tucked away right now. Molotov, though, is going to send a player on ramp into the open. It's perfect flashbangs here, but no, they don't even get that initial kill. Hiko finally repeats there to grab it, and we see Gabi and Fugly all getting knocked out there, too. There was good positions for NRG to respond, but the flashbangs from Liquid were perfectly placed to blind them, push them into corners. And for Liquid to pretty much just punish that one. Leggy and Peter won't even attempt to get close to this one. They're probably just going to stick around here in the B bomb site and save.
Yeah, that's like the direct counter, right? If you have 2 rifles at A and they're at A ramp and Goose, the direct counter is just going up and, you know, going through spawn. The A ramp and Goose setup destroys just crossing the site, but if you spawn drop there, you're actually in a really advantageous position coming up that A ramp. And Gabi even read it. He read it right away. He came from long, just really, really quickly, and, you know, almost stopped it with them, but Liquid just, you know, got 3 entries, 3v5, 2v5 pretty much instantly.
So Leggy again here. Thankfully, him and Peter are able to save quite confidently, and they dropped quite a few players that we saw NRG hunting for this quite a bit in the last half too. The difference was obviously is that the problem for Liquid is that they can't really afford to take these losses at this point with the money being as low as it is, whereas NRG at this point in the half were sitting perfectly with about like 10K for each player. So these were not big issues for them at all.
Yeah, this is going to be like the round though. I think if NRG loses this round, you start saying, okay, Liquid can easily win this, easily.
But obviously, we've seen NRG been able to pick up at least one round here so far. Maybe doing it again. However, they're completely ignoring any mid defense in this one. They don't place any players there to watch for that. Just going 3-2 on the bomb sites here, and mainly over here towards long as well, as they take a look towards A, but Tabson sneaking back down towards CT, hugging that right wall. JDM has not spotted this play just yet. The smoke for the cross comes in. He tries to spray, actually gets some great damage onto Elige, but he's going to get pushed back into the Molotov too. That's enough, though, to scare at least one of these guys back into the tunnels. In fact, all of them now work their way, fall back. They're going to wait a little bit longer. Thankfully, this is all happening a little bit early here, so plenty of time to play with, but also on the T side, nobody watching for the long doors pressure here, so that's how allowed for Fugly to push back out and completely deny any option for them to push in there.
Yeah, and once again, they showed their play, and then NRG pushed on the other side of the map. So now Liquid's in a tough spot. They wanted to bring this round towards JDM and let him lead somewhere with his op and run it through that way. And now he has the bomb in an awkward spot. They're not sure what they want to do here.
Pimp is going to be holding on the right side of the long push here. Nobody checks it initially. Pimp moves in, grabs one, but it's traded out by Legia. JDM, however, for elsewhere on the map there inside of the tunnels, does catch that kill onto Legia. Tabson holding it mid, but an additional trade puts this back down to a 3-on-2. And the remaining 2 CTs here are stuck over towards the A bomb site. Peter a little bit closer. Could try to make a move here and jump through, but Hiko will be waiting for that. Walks up, but Peter actually grabs the frag. The potential for the round loss against Team Liquid's favor is open once again, as Peter and Fug, they're going to move up here to try to clutch this out. Both of the remaining teams are also stuck in the tunnels now due to Elige's low HP. He's decided to play it here instead. He's even working his way down, possibly to open up a flank, and yeah, he's going right for it, though. Full throttle, and Fugly peeks out. He doesn't have JDM blinded also. It's an easy shot for him. Elige on the flank, unfortunately, gets denied, and now this goes into the 1v1, but JDM, he's no longer have any utility to try and stop him from pushing out, so JDM is just going to move right up there, shut out Peter, and give Team Liquid another round.
How did Pete know, man? How did Pete know Elige was flanking? Did he make noise or something? Or is he just that good?
So with that, though, we do go into the pause for NRG now, since things aren't really looking too great for them either. Picked up one round amongst this, but for the most part, it's been a straight shot for Team Liquid to pick up, I believe, these 7 rounds throughout the course of this half.
Yeah, and I mean, they got reset the round they won the eco, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
I think
it was like a half eco or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and then they picked up their guns. They lost that round. They were able to still buy. Now they lost again. I think they should have 2,400 each right now. No.
Right around the 2K for most of them. We got some Peter sitting a little bit higher at 4,750 and Leggy down to 3,400, but most are right around that 2K mark. 2.2K is the average.
Yeah, so you just got, completely reset super late into the half, 14-10. they'll probably save one. I would think they'll buy next because Peter's going to be able to have an op. They'll probably buy again at 14-11. Liquid wins that round. So we got a couple more gun rounds here where NRG really needs to win one. But this has just been a case of T-Sides just putting on a complete clinic right now.
Yep.
Liquid that last round, honestly, they probably should have lost it. The second aggression that they made towards the B tunnels, I would have strongly advised against that because Fugly did push long and it put them into so much pressure to where anything they do is going to have to be kind of sloppy, right? They're probably just going to group up B tunnels, maybe group up towards Cat or something like that, and you want them to make their play there. They had no clue where Fugly was, and that really hurts them. That means, like, in the back of their mind, they're like, we could be getting flanked at any moment. Instead, they try that re-aggression at the B tunnels and just a little too much re-aggression out of NRG.
And so obviously here too, do you think this is more of a case in the second half of Liquid showing a better T side, or is this now NRG making mistakes or possibly just not hitting their shots, not winning battles? What's like the big key issue here at the moment? As we saw in Liquid, it just seemed like they were being completely out mind game by GOB in the first half. What's happening here in the second half?
So I don't think NRG's playing any sort of style that's like bad to play. They're not playing bad Counter-Strike. Positionally, they're playing pretty good. They've lost quite a few close rounds here, right? 2v2s. You see every single round they're losing the close rounds. NRG is living with 2 players alive most of the time. 1 player that last round, 2 the round before. But nobody on NRG is taking, they're playing so standard. When you play Dust2 and you're on T side and you get that economic advantage and the CTs are like forcing a lot of the time, it's pretty easy to see exactly where they're going to rotate from. Once you take a site, it's so easy to get the transition kills and the rotationary kills that's why I think the best way to win this map if you're NRG is, like I said, you take big risks. You just say, you know what, like we're going to triple push B tunnel this round and you 2 play long, you stay long. If we get we get that B tunnel control of those kills, we'll probably win the round, right? This round we're just going to smoke mid, we're going to smoke B, and we're going to have like 4A. It's really difficult to lose those rounds because at the end of the day, it's going to be like a 50-50, right? If they come A there, probably going to win that round. You're going to probably have a lot of money when they hit A. So I just don't like the way they're playing right now because, T-side Dust2 could be so T-sided.
Well, we will get back into things here now. NRG are just going to be on their eco for this round. GDM, of course, looking to see if anybody will peek him mid initially, but Team Liquid are not wasting any time, too, with their own push. Already sending 4 to 5 of their players out over here towards long A. Fugly initially peeked forward, but couldn't even get there in time, so just decides to fall back, and most of NRG are doing the same thing now, just hiding out in CT, preparing for that hit. They did actually have a little bit of time here to try and boost a couple players up on the platform if they wanted to, but now we're going to try to move up forward here, too. And the peaks, this is where things are going to go badly. They try to time it for the push from TL, but doesn't play out there. Thankfully for them, only Fugly ends up pushing. They only lose that 1 life, but now the nades roll in here. They've got actually the boost over on top of the smoke here too to allow them to see over it a bit, but it's flashbang. Tabson tries to drop down from it, and it ends up failing horribly for the most part there. One of them pushing out. It's just all Liquid in this round here. Good attempts at picking up some efforts from the NRG side, but just doesn't pay off at all. It's left to GOB being a 1v5, and he's really got nothing to contest it with.
Yeah, and they do the same anti-eco every single time. They'll either rush B or they'll rush long. Every single, just depending on their spawn generally. It seems like NRG, I think, went mid-B that one round, right, where Tabson had that 4K, so we saw a little bit of difference from them. I mean, that's really standard on Dust2. It's not anything surprising, but looks like they'll probably set up in a long take here again. I think they're going to go fast long, probably.
And they will leave themselves, JDM specifically, actually taking a bit of a risk this time, too, and pushing up towards Suicide, but smoked off.
They actually opt for just a default Eco, trying to get that information if they're long or not. And PTR again over on that B site. So last time PTR was over at the B site to play 3 towards A. And this time they're just playing like a standard 2-1-2. So A is going to be super easy to take here. Look, they even have 2 mid CT spawn. I doubt Fugly's going to opt to try to hold A with a FAMAS here, or whatever he has, an M4 and 2 flashes.
Has moved over towards the car position too, but at the moment not really seeming too apparent to stay there and peek back out. He actually is trying to shift his way back over onto the ramp spot one more time. While Tabson, along with Leggy and Peter, all still focused on that potential for a B hit, and GOB contesting out towards long as he has been for a lot of this half so far. A minute left on the clock. Still plenty of time for Team Liquid to play with this if they want to and waste a little bit more to cause some more shifts. But now the longer they wait too, the more we're going to see NRG start to shift their players from mid. Not only is it just going to be Fugly here, but Tabson also putting himself on the ramp too, which will buy the time for Fugly to put himself back over here by Goosk into that spot. And he's still the reinforcement coming out from GOB, assuming he's able to win his battle versus Hiko, with him possibly pushing out towards long in a few moments.
Yeah, and one thing I like about Pete right here is he has 40 bullets as the XU comes, so they have no idea where the off is still.
They are going to be jumping back into the site here too. They even go for the spawn drop. Moving up to the site too, but they've got to be careful of that card pressure from Thompson. They managed to handle it. Fugly actually tries to push out from Gooster, who takes the first battle but doesn't find anything. And not only that, but Gabi does get shut down. Not actually by Hiko, it's by, I believe it's a Liege further out there towards Long watching for that manages to grab the kill there. Leggy and Peter, again, stuck in the site. The take is too flawless from Liquid, so there's nothing to do but fall back and look to save their guns.
That's twice they've done that take. Twice they've had 0 casualties. 2v5 right away. And positionally, Gabi's playing it good again. He goes and tries to help his teammates, but they are just getting so blind. And by the time you get unblind, they're just in your face. And it's so difficult to hold.
So with Team Liquid now on the cusp of a comeback here, NRG more than likely, unless they decide to buy up into this next one, which may be plausible, but probably is going to leave them without some key components of the buy. They would save into this one, and then obviously the last buy they would have would be the one that would determine the tire knot. Again, though, getting some good damage towards the end of the round. It is still leaving, however, Team Liquid with a decent amount of cash, but those rebuys certainly are not going to do them any favors if we see NRG start to pick up rounds. Thankfully for Team Liquid, for the most part, on a lot of their players, this is at a point where that shouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. As if NRG just wins 2 regardless, they're going to win the game. They're going to win the game anyway.
So it looks like they're faking long presence here. Pete's getting boosted cat with Tabson, and they still threw a long A smoke, so they're not like probably 100% sure that they're long, or not long here.
There's the peek from Peter, though. He is able to stack up on top of a teammate there, grabs the Liege early, and that's it. That's all they're going to do for right now. Moving away, they're happy with the 5-on-4 advantage, and this may cause some uncertainty on Liquid. They do get that long control, though, so it's not over for Team Liquid yet, but probably now them fearing the ability to push onto Cat is certainly going to dissuade them from moving in, at least on the split push here for this round.
And this op peak might decide the round by Peter, PDR, and JDM. If Pete decides to challenge him in pit, that is.
We'll do that for now, though. After losing Tabson back over there on Cat, Peter actually takes up the position. He's going to push down the steps, ops up closer too, and he's got to go for the shot, but way overflicks that one. Nitro's going to take him down. It opens the site wide open here now, and it just got B, and well, he takes the wide peak as well, just jumps up on top of the box, and he gets wrecked.
He literally ran from A ramp, from CT spawn into A ramp, while JDM was throwing nades at A. And then JDM actually doesn't even get the kill while JDM's in pit. So that was pretty funny to see.
And so that's going to decide this round again. Good gun pickup, so once more we're looking at NRG escaping. They're going to buy into this next round regardless, so really just gives them that extra little bit of a boost here. But as we see once more, it does not look like Liquid is too conscious on actually moving out to pursue any of these guns just as of yet. And as with the current spots, I don't think they're really going to even get close to having an opportunity to take them down. So this will be the 13th round for Team Liquid. NRG getting to the buy round, and it's this next round that may end up deciding possibly the entire match.
And there was a huge round, somewhat similar to this on the last half, where right now Liquid's just owning them with their cat take, right? And NRG was doing the exact same thing. You know, they were doing a lot of cat takes and things like that and winning the round. And then instantly when Elise was boosted on that box, what did they do? They went towards B heavy. So we'll see if Liquid gets cat here, and then they're just like, okay, we're going to, you know, do a fake, or what they're going to do, if they're just going to do the same strat, or if they're going to rush. But it's a similar situation. When everything's working like that, you can just throw fakes off of it so easily.
We can see too, actually, finally, JDM's been looking to do this, as we saw Peter do it quite a few times in the first half, but finally it's JDM that makes the connection on Legia. He's actually the only player that fully crosses well, so for the most part, B's actually really weak right now, with Legia being lit down to 36 health. Tabson throws that nade in, no follow-up as of yet, connects a little bit of DPS, or just damage on the Hiko there, brings him down a bit low, but it's not going to be a big deal in the grand scheme of things here. Most of Liquid just stacking up in the B tunnels right now, preparing for a hit in this direction.
Yeah, because they read it just so well again. Like, it was the same thing that NRG did. They had to respect their A so much that they have 4 people towards the A site, and Legia is all alone.
And again, Legia here being brought down solo. 36 HP, he is going to try to hold out for a moment, but they push into the site. Legia immediately destroyed, doesn't even get any trade frags at all, just gets dropped down. Retake's moving in fast, however, but it's one, actually now 2 for 1 as Tabson in front of the door. He's a player that grabs 2 of those kills and importantly drops the bomb. It will still be retrievable here for Team Liquid, and as they move up there too, Hiko tries to push out towards mid to kill the retake position, but Tabson's going to deny that once again. He's up to 3 on this round. They'll try to push him back with a nade, won't really do the job. The smoke that was actually by the door caused a little bit of chaos there as they were a bit hesitant to move towards it to retrieve the bomb. But now, Gabi also getting in a position to push tunnels. JDM finds that kill. No fault from Gabi, and when he moves in, Elige is going to shut that out. It all goes to Tapson, but he as well will immediately go down to JDM. And Team Liquid have done it now. I believe that is going to be a 13-1 run after they pick up that one to round the comeback here. 12-1 run, apologies. And with that, they do tie things up at 14 rounds.
Yeah, NRG is going to go for the win here. They're fully buying, and one has a ump, but they have a really good bot round, so they're definitely in this round. But as you saw, like, that just came down to a really good read by Liquid once again.
So off of that one too, they're actually not going to commit themselves to any one of the sites just yet. Opening up with the default split here, more than likely we'll group up towards mid there, where since we're not really seeing anything yet fast over towards Cat there, they will more than likely have multiple options in the way they want to take this. But Elige also already investigating here out of the mid doorway. He's going to push it too, and there's no resistance from NRG on it at all. The closest player they have to defend that would be Tabson, sitting up on top of the Cat in the drop-down position. No op for him. Really just waiting to see if anything rolls in his direction, and still having as well Peter further back on the ramp spot. And instead of having Gabi player, they've actually switched it out a bit. Right now they're putting Fugly on the long door spot and having Gabi watch B instead.
So they just take catwalk control, a minute left in the round, they can do whatever they want. We'll see. NRG's been being punished every single time they push post catwalk control. So now faking mid B, maybe going A, we'll see.
Do not commit just yet. They still have kept the bomb in the hands, I believe it's right now on Elige right now here. Still focusing it over onto Cat, but this could change at a moment's notice. Legia posting up here too, very, very close, only with an SMG here to the entrance on tunnels. And actually, here's the shot from JDM and perfectly reacts to it. He finds that kill. Tapson picking up another one here as well. He's burning in the fire there. That's where Hiko is going to be able to catch the trade. But now the alarm is sounded. Gabi pushes his way out towards mid here. Nitro moving in. The drop down kill from Peter. Grabs Nitro. Legia up on top of the box. Gets the clothesline on Pimp. And now it's just Hiko alone. He's got the bomb in hand, but he's got to pull off a 1v4. Grabs one kill, but again, it's Legia jumping out from the corner. He's going to grab 3 on this round. Retrieves the op for his teammates. So look at the double op set up for free here. And now they finally get up to match point.
Finally. I would have never thought this map would get this close after that 13-2 scoreline. And now we look like we might even go to overtime. But I want to see if Legia threw that smoke on purpose. That left that tiny little bit of a gap that, you know, basically won that round.
So with that, buying them the time, of course, Team Liquid are still going to be back into the hot seat in the same position they were at the beginning of this half, possibly losing this match, but it's in even worse shape now after rounding this much of a comeback. To drop it here would certainly not do them any favors for the next map, which we still have coming up here in just a bit too, but if they can win this one, they can still reset the scoreline here and take us into OT, where they may yet have a chance to actually close out this map. They will deny the early Cat presence though. The CTs will, as we see the Molotov tossed in. There's going to be a lot of nade follow-ups, but despite the fact that he's blind, Tapson goes for the timing shot, picks it up, ducks away in a CT. They should have been able to hear him running around here, but they don't know if he's stuck out just yet. He does decide to dive back in, as they still have the support from Peter back by Carr, but nonetheless, that kill against Nitro, along with the earlier damage we've seen going on to players like Legia and whatnot, it is going to convince them to hold back a little bit here and consider their options, maybe giving this up and going for a B hit, but with the nades going in, once again, it does appear as that they are going to recommit. Peter does not want to directly contest that, though. He falls further back down long, and Tabson, a little bit of a delayed reaction to that, but he does spot Elige, and now in comes Peter, spots Pimp a little bit through the smoke. They're able to take him down. Tabson's out playing around with the smokes, too, just trying to hunt heads as they slowly peek out on the ramp here. Bomb will get itself onto the site, but it's a 5v2. They do not have the greatest position to hold this. Nade goes in. It's onto Hiko there. JDM's been called back to support, but he will have to deal with more pressure on Cat in just a second. Hiko trying to hold this, but he immediately goes down. JDM finding one pickup. He's jumping dinked, and with that, Legia is going to be able to finally push in and take him down. After all of that struggle on the comeback from Team Liquid, NRG will still close out this map in a 16-14 scoreline. They take it, and once again, they get the jut ahead of Team Liquid in this season's rankings.
Yeah, that was backs against the wall, right? If NRG lost one of those, you know, last rounds, they're probably going to lose because they wouldn't have had that much money. But just when Tabson was on Cat there, the main thing that dictated that round is that they threw a really good flash to blind him off to the ledge, but because they had 3 people running so quick, more often than not, you're actually going to die there just because of a timing shot. Because if you're opping on the ledge in that situation, you're going to shoot no matter what. And if 3 people are running across, you literally have maybe like a, you know, half a second timing window where you're going to kill somebody. You know, so that was just generally what you do is you have one person cross and try to clear the stairs and get in the stairs, and then the other person can wait, and then if the opera on ledge, you know, wide peeks you, then he just peeks and trades instantly. But they didn't do that. They just it was kind of sloppy, actually.
All right, so we have a lot more to talk about with this match, and of course we'll be back for the second map, guys. But for now, we're going to take things over to our analysis desk to discuss more about what exactly happened with that game. T-Squared and Ryu, take us away.
Yeah, wow, that was almost a crazy comeback from Liquid, but they fell just short. And overall, that's going to mean that NRG goes to 10-5, and then Liquid to 9-6.
That's one of those wins that you're happy that you pulled it out, but at the same time, you're like, man, that should have never been that hard. I mean, that was a bloodbath. It was like watching Los Pepes against the Medellin cartel in Season 2 of Narcos. It was just crazy gunfire. You had a completely different style. I felt like first half, you have the T side of NRG, 13-2 lead. There were rounds that I think Gabi was like just running into B and entering with like a MAC-10. They start off this crazy run here on this round with Fugly and some Deagle work.
Yeah, this is where it started. It
felt like this isn't close. Like it felt like, okay, game's over.
Do the smoke.
If NRG, so they'll actually lost both pistols, but if they win that second half pistol, like this is not a contest. It's like a 16-2, 16-3 blowout, which is crazy because we were expecting it to be close like it was at the end, but I don't think anybody was expecting it to be close in the way that we got there. For Liquid, their T side, it was like they got cat control over and over, almost for free most of the time, except for that last round.
Right.
And then they had just like one really good drop strat type of execute, some good mollies and smokes, and they were able to get close.
Both teams had a really solid T side, but it was days that called it. NRG was really just on top of everything strategically, always calling the right plays. I believe it was round 9 where we see Legia. This is it right here. He has this awesome entry down long, gets the 2 there. And we were saying right at the very end, as soon as they get the numbers advantage, it's pretty much over for them.
It was an uncharacteristically poor performance from Hiko to start. He was one of the 2 people that Legia, knocked off the map there. And I think he finished with like 2 kills in the first half. And it wasn't like there are times where you don't have a ton of kills, but when you go back and you look at it, you're the guy that's left in like a 1v4, or you're getting flashed and you're getting killed. There were so many opportunities for Hiko to actually get kills. There was one that just stands out in my mind where he's at like mid doors and his crosshair just like goes all over the place. Like, I don't know if he just changed mice or doubled his sensitivity.
Maybe he sneezed.
Maybe he sneezed. Yeah, I mean, something like that is what it looked like. And that's just so not common to see from a player of his caliber. If he plays just a little bit better in that first half, given how close that second half was and the final score, like maybe they win that. So if you're Liquid right now, you need to just say, like, guys, like, we had all the momentum in the world. We came up just a little bit short. That first half cannot happen, but put it behind us. Let's get this next map. An 11-5 record for NRG, if they win this second map, is actually pretty insane. Like, that's a great, like, it's just one of those records that you look at and you're like, wow, 11-5, that feels really good. They're not guaranteed like that 6th spot yet, but I think they're like starting to knock on the door of it.
Well, when we're talking about numbers, NRG had a 13-2 run after Liquid had their 2-0 run, and then Liquid had a 12-1 run of their own, and it was looking pretty impressive for them.
Sometimes when a team has like a huge lead, they let off the gas. This round, I think Hiko just gets timing. He looks away, and as he turns back, Tabson turns around. Tabson played great.
Was unfortunate.
Both sides of the map. He was one of those guys that, to me, stood out on both halves. I feel like when you get beat 13-2, generally no one on your team is doing tremendously well. So for Liquid, that first half, kind of a wash across the board. But in the second half, I feel like JDM really picked it up. As you see, this was a really, really big hold. I actually thought they were going to lose that round, and I thought that would be kind of the momentum into the loss. They actually won that and made it even closer than that. Then that round would have let it be. If they lose that, it's like a 16-13 probably. They won that round. It was a really good hold. JDM hit some nice shots. But I thought it was interesting. Tabson, again, I mentioned how well he played. They let him try to hold cat control because it seemed like they were losing it consistently. And Days mentioned like the timing shots on when you're on that railing. Flashbang comes over the top. You see 28 kills there. Just a great performance again from him. When that flashbang comes over, you get blind and you just take the shot. A lot of times if they're grouped up like they were that last round, you get that kill. Peter missed it, I think, almost every time. And Tabson was the one to get it in that final round. So I don't know if they said, let's put Tabson up there. He's feeling it right now. I don't know that he's always their secondary op, but he has this one. Actually, after that kill, I was like, all right, they won this round. Because it was like, okay.
They finally got that double op set up.
They had a double op set up. It was interesting. They played both ops towards A. But when Tabson got that first kill, dropped down, rotated away, Peter was holding the angle from Game Helper. And the guy that was dropping was the guy that was punishing them over and over and over. tabseN killed him, and that was it. That was all she wrote.
That was, and if Hiko would have got going a little bit earlier, it could have been a completely different game. And that was one of the guys that we were looking to really step up. Was late to getting in the game server, and then a little bit late to get going in the game. So really looking at him to step it up on this next map on Cobblestone.
I think it's huge. It's incredibly important that he plays. The second half, it seemed like he started to play a little bit better, but there were still so many opportunities. Even at the very, very end there was a round where Peter has a pistol, and he's turning around the corner, and it's like Hiko and Peter basically this distance, from me to you apart. And you think like, okay, Hiko's going to get this just in pure crosshair placement. He's the one moving, and in this game, there's a peeker's advantage. So the guy that's actively peeking gets a little bit of a jump start over the guy who he is peeking, and he dies to a pistol from Peter. And like those are the things that you just, with a player as good as Hiko, you expect those are like the 9 out of 10 times he's going to win that. He wasn't winning those 9 out of 10s tonight.
All right, well, we'll see what happens in the next map. But, guys, I want to give a shout-out to thescoreesports.com. Go on and take out your phone, iOS or Android device. Download it on the Google Play App Store and just give it a check, right? You got it, right?
You know what? It is the best place for esports news and stats. I don't know how you could be watching this right now with an Android device or an Apple device and not have it loaded.
All right, guys, and make sure that you don't go anywhere. We're going to have the second map. It's going to be on Cobblestone between Liquid and NRG.